Hi guys, it's Amy with Aim to Plan, and today I am going to be discussing daily planning. So this is my favorite time of the year. It is planner release season. All the planners are being released for 2024, and so I thought it would be a good time to kind of hop on here, discuss my daily planning and really my daily planning needs, just so that way I can have a game plan for going into the new planner season. And so I have been a daily planner for several years. In fact, I would say that I'm pretty much a daily planner 80% of the time. The rest of the time with weekly planning and monthly planning, that's kind of like a bonus, but most of what I do lives on daily pages. And so with that many years under my belt, I feel like I've kind of fallen or gotten into the groove of what I like to use for daily planning. But I wanted to talk about some of the options and just kind of show you, or at least highlight the things that are most important to me, so that way if you're thinking about doing the same thing, you can kind of make these decisions for yourself as well. So with that being said, today I am only going to be talking about daily planning. Again, daily planning is like the heart of my system, and so that's, to me, the most important thing for me is to make like a really solid decision for daily planning. But if you're not a daily planner, I would encourage you to ask similar questions about whatever your planner layout is, whether it's a monthly, a weekly, and in particular with the Happy Planner, to ask questions about the type of layout that you're using, whether it's vertical, horizontal, dashboard, or whatever. But again, for me, this is the process and like some of the thoughts and ideas that I have about daily planning in particular, and then we'll just keep going from there. So I'm going to start off by showing you my current planner, because I think that will be the most helpful, and then I'm going to show like some examples. That's what the stack is for like what my plan is for 2024. And so I wanted to show you again my current planner. This is just a random page from, it looks like, July. So what I'm using right now is some outdated tool letter size, like the big size pages. It is a daily on one page, which I actually do enjoy that. I like having at least a day on one page. I have in the past used a daily on two pages, which sometimes I feel like is too much room. I feel like a little bit like stressed out trying to fill up all of that space. A daily on one page, though, I feel like is perfect, especially if it's this big size. If it's smaller, like if it's a classic size, I can probably do a daily on one page, but moving even down, like smaller than a classic size, I feel like I would need it on two pages. So like a mini size or pocket size or micro size, I would need at least a day on two pages. So that's the very first thing, is like, what kind of size would you be looking for? For me, for a daily planner, I feel like for the big size, one page is totally fine. I think for a classic, I would go between 1 and 2 pages, and anything smaller than a classic size, I would need at least 2 pages. So that's the very first thing, is just the size. The second thing is, for me, is like the breakdown of the pages itself. Now for me as a daily planner, I know that I personally love to have the times. This comes from my background of like being a former bullet journaler, and so I like to be able to really journal about my day throughout, and so I do, of course, like note like events, and you can see here I basically note this event in like a box, a colorful box, and so that's really the only event that I had for the day. The rest of it are just notes that I kind of put next to the time, and so it's not really time blocking. I've tried to get into time blocking. I'm not very good at it, but I definitely like to just kind of journal about my day, and so of course I keep track of events, but also just to be able to journal about my day by the time is really important to me. Now if I don't have the time, it's not a deal breaker, but I do really love the time, and so that is something that I'm always looking for, and I prefer having the time breakdown. And so for the time breakdown for me, having it go from 6 to somewhere around like 10 p.m., so 9 p.m. here at the bottom, is what I prefer. Like to have this tool daily page end at 7/8 o'clock, it basically ends at 8 o'clock, right? I actually find that I'm missing 2 hours. I'm constantly taking notes like underneath the line, I'm constantly taking notes up here, so I would prefer something that goes to 9, maybe even 10 p.m. 11 p.m. would be like it would definitely cover every single like time slot that I'm up. So I'm definitely asleep by 11 o'clock, and I typically sleep until about 6:30. So if I could get like a 6 to 11 o'clock, that would be perfect. Not every daily planner has that, but that is what I prefer. I definitely for sure need evening hours, and so having times past 5 o'clock is very important. I did in a previous, like in 2022, I didn't use a daily planner that was basically 6 to 5 p.m., and that was just not enough. I felt like I was constantly running out of room, like a lot of my like personal life starts at 5 p.m. So I felt like I definitely did not have enough time for tracking my personal stuff on a daily planner when it ended at 5. So definitely later the better, for me at least. And even not being a morning person, having it go early is very important to me. So that's the second thing that I personally look for, is to have the times. Now I know not everyone likes to do the hourly thing, and so that's not your thing, then certainly it would not be something that you would prioritize, but I prioritize that. I find that like after the size of the paper, the most important thing to me on a daily page is going to be the time breakdown. And I mentioned the range of hours. The other thing that's very important to me in terms of the time is to have at least a 30-minute window for each time. So here, even though it's not listed, I can basically, because I have 3 lines here, I can have a 9 o'clock and a 9:30 time. And then it's a kind of weird like 3-line thing, but I basically just do a 9 and a 9:30. And then of course, even the hours down here, it's 6 for the first line and 6:30 for the second line. So I definitely need at least a 30-minute increment. I prefer 15 minutes, but mostly that's for work, and I'm trying to like break myself of that kind of like being super like minute and nitpicky about the time. So again, most important thing to me is the time breakdown. So when I look for daily planners, I am looking for that. Now, whatever you prioritize as the most important, just make sure that that's going to be something that you're looking for in your planner, regardless of whether it's a daily or a weekly or a monthly. Just make sure that it has what you need. So just to give you an example that's maybe not daily planning, I know a lot of people have to have a Monday start on their monthly calendar. If you are looking for monthly starts that have like, or monthly spreads that have the Monday start, Happy Planner wouldn't be for you. They have a Sunday start, so that's just an example that came to mind for me. So with that being said, again, like the hour to me is the most important, so I'm going to be looking for that. Whatever your need is, whatever you have to have in your planner, just make sure that it has, whatever planner you pick has that thing. So for me, I have to have a daily planner that has this breakdown. And so like right here, I don't actually use this section, but I do have this section as like a priority section, and then it has a to-do list, and then it has a notes section. And those are like, I feel like secondary things, but I find that I actually use all 3 of these sections. Not every single day, as you can see here, but if you flip through the planner, you'll see that sometimes I do use it, right? And it's just like sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. Like even on this side, I didn't use the to-do list at all, and I didn't use the notes section at all. But I want to have enough space to have a very large, this would be I think the second most important thing to me, to have a very large to-do list, and be able to write out everything. So that's the second most important thing. I also like to have spots to journal, and I consider both of these to be kind of journaling spots. This one is journaling about events that are happening, and I usually use this section to journal like larger like sentences about anything that's happening during the day. So I like, for example, put notes to myself about like prayer requests or like praise reports, or just like to chat about my day in long form. So I don't write that in like these little kind of like micro bullet lines, but I do use some space. On these pages, it'd be like right here out to like write out sentences. Hopefully that makes sense. But again, time is the most important thing. The second most important thing is to have a very long to-do list, and the third most important thing is to have notes spaces. Now, I know that about myself because I have been a daily journaler, a daily planner for a very long time, and so that's just my order. Again, what you might need is going to be a little bit different, but I like to really have that for my daily planner. So with that being said, here are some of my options for 2024. So the very first thing, I'm sorry about the glare for this, by the way, I laminated this sheet a very long time ago, but this is like a super old school, like Happy Planner daily layout. And so you can see here, like basically it has a 6 p.m. start and it goes down to 11 o'clock. I actually loved this sheet. I've used all of these. I wish I could find some more. This is a very good option for me just because I loved this so much, but it has everything that I am looking for. Very similar kind of layout to the tool letter size pages that I'm using now, except I think that it breaks it down into a more like, the lines are like set up for by the 30s, so 9 and 9:30, and then also down here it goes to 7, but also it goes all the way to 11. Of course, it like kind of cuts it to where it's like by the hour here, but I can do that. Then here it has a very long to-do list, as you can see, and then it does again have priorities, which I sometimes again use for notes about events. And then right here there's a grateful for, which I didn't use it for gratitude. I basically use it as like a small journaling spot, right? And then the back of it, and this was how it was for all of these sheets, you basically get like this brain dump page, which you can make even more to-do list. list, or you could just use it as a free form kind of like journaling space. So again, I felt like that was good. I also felt like just going back to like the classic size being like I go between like 1 page versus 2 pages. I felt like some days I was using both sides of the page, but sometimes I wasn't. So I felt like I was definitely using this side, but sometimes I wouldn't use this side at all. So it felt a little bit wasteful to like have only, 1/2, just depending on the day being used. So that was one option. Right, this one is the kind of newer version. There are different designs and like elements that come into play here, but definitely there's like a to-do section with like a long, super long to-do list. It of course has journaling spots. I feel like all of these are like journaling spots. The priority section, which is kind of, again, like for me, like I would kind of write like long form notes about my events, and then you put the date and everything else. The thing that's missing for me and why I've never been able to get behind this one is that it doesn't have like an hourly time block. So yeah, that's just like one of the reasons why I can't get behind this. But if you don't need a time block, if you don't need like the very like hourly breakdown of your day, then this would be a good format just because it has all the other things that I feel like is important for daily planning. So yeah, I have so many months of this, but I just haven't been able to use it. It just doesn't have the hourly breakdown. And so then this is something that I converted a while back, and I think this is what I'm going to use for 2024. I'm not quite sure, but what I have here is a tool. This is actually a day on 2 pages, and it was actually originally a letter size, and so right here at the very top I basically trimmed down the like parts that made it outdated. So it had like the date and the day of the week and like a small mini calendar and some other stuff, but I just trimmed it down, and then I trimmed down like right here in the middle, and I lost like a couple of like lines, like basically the lines right here in the middle. But I thought, for a like an easy conversion, I was able to do this. I'll actually post a photo, if I remember, of what it looks like originally so you can see that. But what I was able to retain on here is basically a day on 2 page. As you can see here, it starts here, the daily schedule starts from 6:30 and it goes down to 11. And here, unlike with the Happy Planner, it does still break down all the way down to 11 p.m. by 30-minute increments, which is perfect. I love that. And then right here is just free form space. There is like, it's kind of hard to see it, I think, but like there's check boxes, and this side is meant to be the to-do list, so you can basically take all of your to-dos here. This side is, I guess, meant to be like a note. So all the things that I needed in terms of like hourly scheduling and to-do lists are here. I feel like there's not really a designated space for notes though. So yeah, it's something where I can find space for it. Obviously there's a lot of room with a day on 2 pages, but I don't know, it just isn't already set up for me. And I also had to make this conversion, so it's not something that I was able to just buy like this. So there was definitely conversion that was required here. You can see words cut off. So yeah, I would have to fix it up and get rid of all of those things. And also, I had to cut it down. So, but this is, I think, right now, this is plan A. The only thing missing from that one was going to be the notes section. And then one last thing I'm going to talk about is this. Let me go ahead and remove it from the packaging. Okay, I just removed a couple of pages because they're all the same. I purchased this from Amazon. It is, like you can see here, a daily planner. And just taking a look at it, just to kind of show you, like, compare some of the things. Like this, to me, I always do Monday starts. So like the Sunday, it's not going to throw me off, but I do like a Monday start. That's one thing. Right, then right here, here is the schedule, and it's from 6 p.m. all the way down to 9 p.m. So basically 8:30 to 9, right? So 9 o'clock. So that's perfect. I do like the 30-minute increments. And then right here is a to-do list. Now the thing here for me is that this to-do list is very small in comparison to the other options that I've got. So this is the thing that's gonna, like, I don't know if I would need that. Like I need more space, right? It does have a top priorities, and here it has 5 spots instead of 3 spots. So I do like that. And then right here is a notes and ideas. Now this is very small. This section is a little bit bigger. This one's kind of small though, but it does have, like, on the back, the notes section, so of course I can take all the notes on the back. So definitely there's plenty of note space. The one thing on here that I don't know, I would never use that on here, at least, is the water intake. I guess I could track it on here, but I'm not a huge, like, tracking it on a daily page type of deal. Like, I want this to be pure function, so it's all journaling things that I'm doing for the day and not so much the things I'm drinking. I could get into it though. I mean, it's not necessarily something that I have to have though, but yeah, so this is what the page looks like. And yeah, the main thing for me is this to-do list is so small, right? I know myself, I like to write out all the things and just brain dump on a daily page. And so I want to have more than just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's not even 10, you know? So I feel like it's just not enough room for me. So I did purchase this just to kind of show it to you, and, you know, give you the options out there. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to go ahead and just go with this, which is, you know, like going to be a day on 2 pages, just like some of my other options here. Like, this was one of my day on 2 pages. This was the other day on 2 pages option that I had. Yeah, I just can't find any more of this. I do love this one. So this is what I'm going to use. I have the pages. I've converted a good chunk of it. I just need to convert the rest, and then just use these. I have to punch them too. You know, there's lots of conversion that has to happen with it. But yeah, so I'm going to use these just to see how it goes. I hope the Happy Planner considers going back to an hourly. I would love an hourly daily. So having a daily, I know there's some like block pads and things like that with dailies. Hourly breakdowns, but from what I can tell, they weren't as long. Like they didn't go all the way to like 10 or 11. And if I had the option and I'm going to be able to use something in my stash, I'm going to go with that. And this, while not ideal, it does for sure at least meet the minimum of like having the hourly block. So I'm going to use this, right? It is of course also like fall release season, so all the 2024 items come out. So I have reserve the right to change my mind at any time, especially if the Happy Planner releases something that is, you know, like exactly what I'm looking for. And again, I haven't looked at and have not purchased like all the different options for like hourly block pads and things like that. So if there's an option that after you hear my list of needs for a daily planner and you're like, that exact Happy Planner block pad or whatever would fit Amy's needs, just let me know. Leave me a comment and let me know about it. I would love to like explore some of the other options. But for right now, this is my plan for 2024 for daily planning, and that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you to kind of like hear my thought process, the things that I prioritize for daily planning, and hopefully that helps you with your own like consideration of like the things that you need for a daily planner, a weekly planner, or even a monthly planner. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel, and until the next video, bye guys.